Certainly we can. I think it was clear from everything we were reading that the prime minister's visit was really going to be focused on many of the things that the U.S. government has been focused on, doing business, bilateral relations, how to strengthen ties between Kurdistan and the United States government. So I could say with certainty, just from what I've been reading, this has likely already been a successful visit for Prime Minister Barzani. Well, certainly there's opportunity, I would assume. I mean, people now are looking to the United States and other similar countries for, freedom as it pertains to energy freedom, energy resources, and they want to do that with political partners that don't pose a threat to their neighbors or to allies or to the United States interest. So this is probably the best of times, or it could be the best of time for the Kurdistan regional government, should it really choose to be more engaged and supportive of the mission of this administration, this president, and many of its representatives. Well, Kurdistan's very unique because of its diversity. As you know, I am a Chaldean, and the majority of the Christian community in Iraq is still in the Kurdistan region. Initially, it was a safe haven because of what took place with Daesh. Many of our community members fled the Nineveh Plain. They went to, Erbil and other parts of Kurdistan, and we have a large presence in Ankawa and Sulaimaniya and many other parts in Dahuk of the entire Kurdistan region. And I think that is looked upon favorably, that this is an area within the country that has relatively great safety. It has become a beacon of diversity, and one in which there's coexistence. And what needs to happen, I think, from at this point is how can we ensure that the remaining Christians in Iraq choose to stay in that country? They need economic freedom, they need religious freedom, and those things can be accomplished through Kurdistan, through the right structure of the new government and who's going to be in those places to ensure that our people want to stay rather than migrating out of the country. Absolutely. We should be the bridge between the Kurdish government and the American government. This is the largest Iraqi American community in the world. We number some 200,000 just in the state of Michigan. We contribute $18 billion annually to the state of Michigan's economy. As you have reported on before, we created a sister state between Ankawa and Sterling Heights, Michigan, where we have a very large population. Many of these opportunities exist if we could figure out a way to solve some of the major long-term issues that are impacting the Chaldean, Syrian, Syriac communities throughout Iraq and specifically in Kurdistan. We've talked a lot to the Kurdish government about forming committees to address issues for the minority, specifically the Christians. But if you want to get a community that works for its people, for its homeland, for Kurdistan, it's best to try to implement many of the recommendations we made to ensure that the Christians want to stay there, that they have equal opportunity, and that they also are going to be part of the new political process that's being established, whether it's through the forming of your new government or the new constitution within the Kurdistan region. I think there's more work to be done. As you know, us Christians are indigenous to that part of the world. It's where we've always lived. And there's definitely more opportunity in the region. And frankly, since Daesh, this has been where most of our community now resides. So yeah, there's some work to do, I think, from our end in trying to get our interest here in the United States aligned with, the government of Kurdistan's interest. But if we were to figure out how to do that, it would be best if we could resolve many of the disputed territories, which are a big part of your government's plan. How do we resolve disputed territories? How do we reduce infractions as it pertains to intimidation, harassment of the minority populations? How do we become more inclusive so Christians are a bigger part of the government? But absolutely, I mean, Kurdistan has become a model, I think, in the Middle East. Certainly, there's more work to be done, but it's easier to do it when you've already taken many steps that other governments or other countries or even within Iraq haven't yet been able to do so. I would absolutely say that that's true. I mean, many of the conversations we have, the first and foremost item that comes up in every conversation when you're dealing with Iraq is security. It's intelligence as it relates to are there going to be more radicalized people that are going to try to create uncertainty in the entire region? Because it's not just in our areas, but as you could see, it's a new world order today with this new administration. This president has been focused on creating peace through strength, and hopefully they see a willing partner in Kurdistan, a government in which wants to fight back against extremism, and also one in which wants to ensure that there's safety and security for all of its citizens. Yeah, I think you guys do a very good job of ensuring that people are aware of the region, the contributions you've made to all of Iraq, the security that you've been able to create, certainly the investments that have poured into Kurdistan over the last decade or so. And so I think you're doing all the right things. It's a matter of public relations at the end of the day, getting in front of this administration to let them know that you are aligned with U.S. interests, that you also are a beacon of hope for minorities. You're a protector of all religious rights, including those that are Christian. And while we all might have differences, you guys are putting mechanisms in place to make sure that you try to address them. Whether or not they get addressed is a whole nother matter, but I think that's the right formula. I mean, if you're talking about Washington, D.C. today and the relationship to Kurdistan, I would tell you, and I've told this even to the Iraqi central government, that you guys do a much better job in advocacy than even the Iraqi central government does in Baghdad. Yeah, I would talk more about or focus more on these missions that have already existed. I'm attending an event with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. There's been many trade missions. We've talked a lot about CODELs, which are congressional delegations visiting the region. I've also met with other country ambassadors or representatives like Hungarian, and a lot of them times they talk about their visit to Erbil and the consulates that they have in that region. I mean, you guys have figured that out. I think the more people that are aware of all the good things that are going on in Kurdistan, I think it resonates throughout the world. We were just there at the end of February. We had a chance to meet with His Excellency President Masoud Barzani. We also met with President Netravan Barzani and many other members of the government. But just that short visit was one in which now we've had at least a couple thousand members of our community from Michigan go and visit Kurdistan in the last couple months. It's these small things that people say, okay, this place is welcoming, it's open, there's a lot of opportunity in this region, and that's what you have to continue to do. Tell that story so that people are aware of the great things happening. Yeah, our advocacy in the region is not going to end. I will be seeing the Prime Minister at an event later tonight. But our focus has really been on how could we help the remaining Christians stay in their ancestral lands. We've seen a decline in Christians in Iraq go from 1.5 million to fewer than 200,000 today. And what is our advocacy really focused on? What could we do to make sure that those that are still there, that wanted to stay there, can live in a peaceful existence, with their neighbors, coexist. And part of that is addressing concerns in areas that are disputed, like the Nineveh Plain. We are also focused on removing militias and having local community police force, creating our own administrative units, ensuring that our community is focused on also getting opportunities within the federal government. They're not hired as much as other components of the population. The last part of this is really trying to figure out how we as Christians can continue to maintain our language, our culture, our identity. That preservation is very important to us. We know that once Chaldeans have left Iraq or Kurdistan, they excel. I mean, we are a small 200,000 of 10 million people here in the state of Michigan, but we economically are one of the most successful in all of the world. So when given religious and economic freedom, the community has excelled. And so it would be best, I think, for us to continue to address our issues, whether it's disputed territories, implementation of the Constitution, ensuring that our community has right representation. If we can address those things, I think you'll see an outpouring of support, not only of people wanting to live and work and worship in your region, but also invest. And that's really been our focus and our goal in trying to get more people to understand that there might be opportunity once we address many of these major concerns.